Travis Scott. I won't really waste time explaining who he is, so we'll just get straight to the process. This sample was initially inspired by Travis Scott's 2015 Rodeo album because of its muddy and grungy sounds by Mike Dean and WondaGurl with the help of other famous producers and engineers. Also, before we begin, I'd like to give a shout out to today's sponsor, Cosmos Instruments, for providing me and you guys with a code to get their VST. Stay tuned till the end. I started off by opening up Arturio's Whirly VST and using the J-Lush preset. First off, I started with an EQ to cut out the lows and increase some highs. Then I added a shaper box and put down the mix to 50%. And lastly, I added a Tape Pro, which is exactly like RC20. It's just more budget-wise. It's a lot cheaper. Once again, I used the same Arturio Whirly VST and didn't bother changing anything. Then I added another EQ as my favorite thing. Cut out lows, highs, a reverb, and lastly, I use a Tape Pro, but I don't really recommend it. I'd rather use RC20. Next up, I opened up Citrus, which is a stock plugin, and used the Angelic Whistle preset. Used an EQ to cut lows and highs. Added some room reverb. Added a shaper box to turn down the mix to 60%. And added a Fruity Love filter for a nice muffled effect. Once again, I opened up Citrus, but this time for the bass. I went to the bass section and used a Deep 3 bass. Next up, I used PT-EQ-X, which is a free analog type EQ. Then I used another EQ to cut high frequencies, used a Fruity Wave Shaper to add a little more distortion, and lastly, I used a Fruity Fast Distortion for warmth and fuzz. Now it's time for some Mike Dean influence. I opened up Evolution Hollow Body Blues and used an electric guitar. I used a parametric EQ2 to cut highs and dip some unwanted frequencies. And then I used a room reverb. Last but not least is a master channel. All I had was an EQ and an ozone imager to widen out the sound. For the final sample, I pitched it down 2 semitones and ran it through a cassette tape to give it a warm and fuzzy sound. Today's video is sponsored by Cosmos Instruments Pegasus VST, and to be honest, this is currently my favorite VST, so use code DRO20 to get 20 euros off and receive a library of crispy sounds ranging from bells, pads, strings, and even bass instruments. Use code DRO20 and I guarantee you won't be disappointed. Droski out.